Hi. I am Kartik, and today we will be reviewing She Dreams in Blood. She Dreams in Blood is the sequel to the brilliant Black Stone Heart, and is the second book in the Obsidian Path series. Crine's main objective is to collect and assimilate the shards of his obsidian heart from his other selves. At the same time, he is trying to figure out the truth behind his rule, his wife Henka, and who he ought to be. The story is set in the Southern Islands, a land that consists of small fiefdoms and, far more savage than the North. In addition to the established characters like Crine, Henka and Neil, She Dreams in Blood introduces a few more complex characters. The standout is Bren, a sailor on the ship that Crine and Henka take towards the end of Black Stone Heart. Bren is like a counterweight to Henka, with Crine using him as a moral compass. Bren is not an innocent who always chooses the right thing. Instead, his advice is pragmatic and human, something Crine realizes he lacks. Bren's presence shows Crine's growing mistrust of his history as well as Neil and Henka. Neil continues to be my favorite supporting character. While being an active sounding board for Crine, his snark is entertaining and mysterious at the same time. Questions remain as to his exact relationship with Crine and what his ultimate plan is. Henka's motives are also suspect. But her character is not as interesting as the others, given that she seldom has doubts about her actions. Crine continues to be amongst the best characters I have ever read. He is not a hero, and the more he is pushed, the more his actions make him a villain than an anti-hero. His inner monologues, and sometimes external dialogues, are as compelling to read here as in Black Stone Heart. We can see his desire to be a better person, but circumstances and actions make him behave more like the demon emperor that he was. Crine wrestles with existential questions this time too. What if the only way to save the world is to become a reviled person like who he was before? Is it worth sacrificing a few to save the world? I like that these kinds of philosophical questions are an intrinsic part of the plot since they make character development so much more nuanced, and they help provoke the reader into thinking. I will use Black Stone Heart as the benchmark since that book is almost perfect, in my opinion. There are many things that I love about Black Stone Heart. The express pacing, the brilliant writing, the characters and the moral dilemmas. She Dreams in Blood has all these strengths and is a worthy successor to Black Stone Heart. The writing is as strong as ever with punch, dialogues and the way Michael Fletcher draws the reader into the story. The pacing is a bit more sedate. I suppose this is because while in the first book, Crine was starting from zero, in this one, he is consolidating his plans. She Dreams in Blood has a faster pacing than most other books in this genre. As far as world building is concerned, we get to see more of the Southern Islands. Most of the story takes place on an island that is a bit evocative of Dr. Moreau. The rest of the story is on a larger island that is the unofficial hub of the archipelago. I found the latter setting more interesting in terms of world building. But when it comes to the climax and ending, it edges out Black Stone Heart. The climactic scenes are way better in terms of both action and Crine's deeds and decisions. The intriguing ending leaves the reader in suspense, and I will be eagerly looking forward to what happens next. If you like the grimdark genre or are looking for morally ambiguous characters, you should not miss this series. Black Stone Heart is fantastic, and She Dreams in Blood takes it to 11. Thank you for watching this review. If you liked it, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button.